Hey, it's Doug and Mike. We Vomit Rainbows, episode number ocho.
Ocho, PPAP. So, on this episode, we talk about furries, we talk about boating trips, we talk about Mike's experiences in Arkansas.
Right, and junkyard etiquette.
And what not to take. So, listen and enjoy. Pin, pineapple, pin.
PPAP, man. It's
Yeah.
sweeping the nation.
Well, it's actually pin, pineapple, apple, pin.
It doesn't matter. It's PPAP, dude.
Dude,
yeah.
I feel like that's the direction of all society moving forward.
Well, it's amazing. If you don't know what we're talking about, just Google PPAP, the pineapple pen apple song, whatever it is.
I feel like you have to say it like
PPAP, and it's amazing. It's a viral video. It got I don't know, like 5 billion views in 2 minutes. And then there's some genius about it. The guy uses 3 words: pineapple, pen, and apple.
Yes.
And there you
well,
go.
and then the amazing gesture of
yeah. I don't know.
You got to put your hands together and make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Doug?
At first I was entranced by it.
Yeah.
But then I saw Vital or whatever, the Russian guy.
Yeah.
And now, I'm literally speechless.
It's kind of there's just different scenes, man. You know what I mean? I think the thing that's tough though about when things come on the internet, like viral musical videos like this that are kind of goofy, it's like you just become such a cynic because it's like you expect one of these every 6 months. You know what I mean? Something's kind of wacky, something's kind of goofy.
But I feel like this is the one that's come out like. There was Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
And then there was,
But Gangnam Style is like a full song. Like, this is more like,
right.
It's a minute long. The Russian one is even weirder, but clearly it's a scene. I mean, there's a dance club. There's a guy with a neck brace on. There's like a whole thing going on.
Yeah, well, I, of course, went a lot deeper into that and found out more about this guy. And he had like the Carnegie Hall of Russia.
Yeah.
He had it completely full of people. And people were so far back, they were just trying to hold up binoculars to see him.
Crazy. Now is it like a whole show or is it just the music?
Oh, yeah. No. It's a whole.
So he's like a comedian kind of, right? Is it comedic or is he serious? I mean, or is it a little bit of everything?
I think he's more serious. The PPAP is a comedian.
Yeah.
He just says nonsense in Japanese, and this is the first time he's done one
that's
in
broken
English.
through. That's broken through, right?
No, but he did it in English, so it now translated all over the world because everyone's like, oh, okay.
Are those the only 3 words he knows? That'd be amazing, right?
Yeah, but I think that's all he does is he just does like utter nonsense stuff.
Yeah. Well,
and even in Japanese.
I mean, entertainment is different in different countries. I mean, they find things, they have different sense of humor. There's different subtleties and stuff. I had a chance to go to Japan for a while and
can we go back?
Yeah.
Things are different in other countries.
Yeah. Screw you, man. If you listen to this podcast, I basically, my profound thoughts are the very obvious.
Yeah, we're going to get master of the, well, except for your detective skills. Like,
that's true.
I'm always surprised that when I start telling you a story and it starts to go down a slope, I think you know where my stories are going to go.
That's true. By now I do, for sure, to a dark place. But
that's one of the things about this podcast is, so the whole premise is that I tell Mike stories and he has no idea what they are.
That's right.
And so I like to gauge his reaction, but it's even more amusing to me when you start to pick out exactly where it's going.
Yeah, and I usually just state the obvious. That's what I do.
Right.
Like I have a moment of clarity, a real profound thought, and I just say something like, "Things are different in other countries, man."
Dude, they're totally different.
But it makes me think about our own entertainment and what we think is entertainment, like the presidential debates. What's funnier, the PPAP or the presidential debates, right?
Well, I mean, last night it was just. I literally, so I had like a friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
And I was trying to plan my night around the debates so I could see the debates and completely engulf them and then go to the party.
Yeah.
And literally the party started at like 8. The debates ended at like 7:45.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got to this party like around 8:30, 8:45-ish.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like just
digesting
like immensely.
Yeah.
And watching rehashes. And I think even better about the debates was when Trump got off the stage and he like walks through that door. You know, he walked through the door and he was like, it went really, really well. And then they pull him and they say, you were talking about Obama and the birther controversy, and he still goes into it. Like he
has no filter, and he doesn't have he clearly likes to hear himself talk about things, which I guess all politicians do. The one thought that I had when I was watching the debates, because whether you realize this or not, like Clinton and Trump, like those families like used to be very friendly, and they probably still are.
Uh-huh.
And part of me, like I was just watching the whole thing unfold, and I'm like, is it possible that like Donald Trump is just like, is this just all a setup? Like he's there so she'll win, and then he'll it just makes no sense to me, Doug. Like I just don't understand. Like when I watch the debate, and I remember like watching debates and kind of like, oh, that guy's got a good point, and like, hey, that person's got a good point, and this is interesting, and I have to watch this so I can make a decision. When I watch the debates now, it just doesn't seem real to me. It doesn't seem like there's nothing being really talked about. And it just, the only thing that dawned on me is like, well, maybe Donald Trump's really just running against her, so she'll win, and then like she'll like hook him up with some business deal or something, or it just doesn't seem like he's very serious about it. Like he's just kind of
he's
serious about it, but it just doesn't seem. And who knows? I mean, like I'm not a political science guy. Like I don't pay attention to a lot of politics. But just from being in the entertainment industry and watching what I saw last night, it just didn't seem like a presidential debate. It just didn't seem like there was any substance on really anything that I saw. But that could also be a reflection of where we're at in a society, like where we're going, right? Like people aren't aware of what's really going on. They just want sound bites, right?
Well, I love the nope. He would just and the weird sniffing thing.
Yeah, I did like how he kept interrupting her and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was so. Like it's just you just don't do that. But he just doesn't care.
No,
it's great.
Yeah, so there are all these rumors, but most of the rumors are all around him using the presidential platform, to garner a better deal. Originally, I think it was to garner a better deal on The Apprentice, but then when he scuttled that platform, then they're offering him more shows and potentially his own network. So now he's taking it to another level.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Even in the debate, he was talking about some business that he's opening up on Pennsylvania Avenue. And he said, he's like, if I don't get there one way, I'll get there another. So, I mean, even at a presidential debate, he's like promoting his businesses. I mean, and, part of his whole, I mean, from what I gathered and what I heard yesterday, I didn't watch the whole thing, was that basically his whole platform is like, listen, we need a businessman to run the country.
Right. And, even if it's a failed businessman.
Sure.
Well,
I wouldn't say he's a failed businessman.
No, he's not. He's not failed, but he is. His success is like it seems so skeevy. Like it just everything about this is a guy who had Trump steaks and then tried to prove that they were like the best steaks in the world, even though they haven't gone anywhere, or like Trump University. Here's a university that has like so many lawsuits against it right now. It's insane. And he's like, I never settle. And then they like show he's like settled tons of felonious deals.
I mean, and that's the thing. I think if everyone was under the scrutiny that he's under, as far as business guys, I think any super successful rich business guy has like 1,000 things like that in their closet.
Of course.
But the thing is, like, that's his whole platform. That's kind of it. And like, I don't necessarily disagree. Like, it would be great to have someone more business minded, maybe running our economy. So maybe he should or someone like him, like some super business guy, should be like in charge of some business things, right? But
so are you saying you're like leaning towards Trump?
No, I'm trying.
Are you trying to tell all of us that we should start looking at Trump as the serious candidate?
I'm talking about business, man. Like, we need a professor of business. I'm not saying we need president business. I'm saying that I wouldn't mind having maybe some more people that have spent time in the actual business world, as opposed to their entire political career in politics. running some business stuff for the country. But I don't think you can run a country kind of on a one-dimensional platform like, hey, I'm a business guy,
right.
so I'm going to run the country like a business. Like I just don't think that's very realistic. I think you need to be more of a dynamic person than that. But at the same time, like watching the whole thing, like it just seems like it's not really happening. Like
Dude,
how is it's almost like something out of a comedy movie. I just had a hard time believing that our country's come to this. I mean, I really do.
I could have just seen at one point, like it just felt like he could have stepped off to the side of the stage and gone, pin, pineapple, apple, pin.
Yeah, totally. Man. I mean,
and just like started dancing off to the side.
I mean, it was entertaining. There's there's some funny stuff in there, but when you really think like one of these people are going to be running our country, like it's a little scary, man. I mean, we definitely live in weird times. And it kind of makes sense that PPAP, maybe that's what we need. You know what I mean?
Maybe he could run, whatever his name is.
I know, man. He got 5 million people to click on his video. Come
on.
Yeah,
he could be. It could be good, but I don't know. I felt like it was entertaining to see the debates. It was terrifying that could be our leader.
Yeah,
and I do feel like Hillary tends to understand the world better.
Well, she better.
Yeah.
This is what she's done, right? I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was actually surprised. I was surprised she didn't do a better job, to be honest with you, considering all of her experience. And I just thought she'd be a little more polished. I mean, not that she was bad, not that she I think dropped the ball or anything. It probably had to do more with Trump interrupting her and everything.
I think I thought she held her own really well. I don't think
but she should have demolished him, right? I mean,
she should have, but I mean, getting him just to come. Remember, he was kind of like, I'm not going to do the debates.
Yeah.
Like it's on a football night, so it has to be on a Monday, and I got to watch my game, and I'm not going to
That's awesome. I got time to talk to you, lady.
Exactly.
I got to watch Monday Night Football.
And so he had all this stuff. So I think she was just happy that he showed up.
Yeah.
And I think she's looking forward to the next debate, but he didn't want to give her too much too soon.
I guess I feel like her strategy was, I'm just gonna let this guy talk and he's gonna destroy himself. And that's fine. That's one strategy I guess she can have, but I would rather her be a little bit more just kind of like more spirit, you know what I mean? Like more taking the ball and just running with it and then just kind of letting him just stand there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think she was again, when you're in a debate situation where you have Crazy Town over here, and you're used to working with like diplomats.
Yeah,
and you're just. I think she handled Crazy Town well.
Yeah,
because
it was crazy to see Crazy Town. It's like, this is real.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I remember Donald Trump. I think I think he used to. The first time I ever heard of Donald Trump, I think he used to put on the Tyson fights back in the day.
Yeah,
with like Don King, and I remember like he was like like an entrepreneur, capitalist guy, like this way back in like 89, 90s.
Yeah, but didn't he work with like Vince McMahon as well, like the WWF?
I mean, he had his own, I remember on The Apprentice, I never liked him on that, but whatever. Anyway, debates.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, there you go. Do you want to talk about maybe a little fishing trip?
What you got going on, Doug?
You like to fish.
I do like to fish. I love fishing.
How big is this boat? This is like so it's a 31-foot boat.
Okay.
Is that?
It's not massive, but it's that's a legit fishing boat. It's not a canoe.
Right.
It's not a speedboat. That's something you can take out on the ocean.
Yeah, it's a 32-foot aluminum boat, and this guy and his mom in Rhode Island were headed out for like off the coast of like Montauk, and they were headed out for a fishing trip.
Yeah. My uncle and my aunt, they raised their whole family on a 50-foot sailboat.
Really?
Yeah. And they all were like doctors and went to Harvard and like all homeschooled, grew up on a boat.
Where?
East Coast, like out of Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah.
It had to be a cold ass boat then.
Yeah. And they would but they would charter it. And so they basically would sail around the world and take people around the world, and that's and homeschool their kids, and the kids all worked on the boat, but like from birth.
Wow.
Yeah, like not yeah.
That's the family business.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah. Anyway.
And they were all well adjusted?
Yeah, like all super smart, all super successful. Like they're doctors and stuff. I mean, like it's It's crazy. They're kind of weird because they can't relate to things. A lot of things that, like, when you talk about, like, growing up and stuff, they're like, oh, well, we lived on a ship.
We never got to ride bikes.
Yeah, exactly. They never rode bikes. They never were on a swing. They never,
all of our pets jumped overboard.
Exactly. We had a pet whale.
We had a pet whale. We had dolphin.
But just so you know the size, so 50 foot,
right,
versus 31.
Okay. So it seems like that would be tight.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. So this guy, Nathan Carmen, and his mom went out to sea, fishing trip. They had it planned. He had been working on his boat a little bit before. They went out to this one area that is extremely deep water. He said he heard some knocking in the engine room, and that the boat started taking on water. He went to go get his the emergency equipment.
Yeah.
And then jumped overboard and started yelling for his mom to come join him. And
whoa. So he had like an inflatable raft or something? Or
I guess so, yeah. Yeah. So he gathered like food in the raft.
Okay.
And then got aboard the raft and couldn't find his mom. But I saw a picture of this boat. It doesn't look like there's like a shit ton of room on it, or like a lot of place for someone to just
hide.
Yeah, to disappear.
Yeah.
And even if it is going down fast, I don't know.
Was it like stormy weather or anything, or no?
No, it was more of a malfunction on the boat. And the other reason, his mom refused to go out past this one island because she didn't like to be in the really rough sea.
Mm-hmm. So
they were fishing at this one place called the Canyons. It's called Canyon Island. So he was out about 100 nautical miles off of Rhode Island, and then on their boat called the Chicken Pox. Nice name. He was out there for 8 days missing.
Oh, my God.
And a freighter passed him and picked him up. They said he was in very good condition. So, if you're on the water for 8 days.
Yeah, that's intense.
But they said he was in really good shape.
Yeah,
that just seems.
Now wait a second. Now when the initial ship sank, did he do like a distress signal and stuff? I mean, there's no record of it. So this is all according to him.
Yeah. And the other thing too is he. I
got to get my paper out, Doug, and start doing my mission for it. Something's going on here.
Right. So Linda's his mom.
Linda. What's this guy's name?
His name is Nathan.
Linda and Nathan. Okay. So I take it what we're thinking is that for some reason, Nathan offed his mom, Linda, claiming that he was out on sea, out there for 8 days. But for all we know, he could have sunk the boat and her body, whatever, the day before he was rescued.
His mom is an heiress of $21 million.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very well-off family. And yeah.
Question, Doug. This is the deal about rich people. Like if your mom has $21 million and is already pretty wealthy, like, is it really necessary to kill her to get that money quicker? I mean, isn't she going to kind of hook you up with like a unlimited tennis at the club and like a sports car? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Isn't she going to kind of like, she's your mom?
Yeah. And also, she felt very, she took a lot of care of him because he has like Asperger's, like a form of autism. So he has definitely
kind of special needs.
Yeah. He's high functioning, so he definitely
he could maybe not sail a boat because it's sunk, but whatever. Like he's good enough to go fishing. And
right.
stuff.
Well, and obviously they had a boat, so they're used to being at sea.
Yeah.
But yeah. So she was the heiress to this fortune. And her father, or his grandfather, was unfortunately the last person to see his grandfather alive.
What?
Yep. So he had dinner with his grandfather, who bequeathed all this money to his mom.
Yeah.
And he was the last one.
This is before he went on the boat, like right
No,
after?
this was in
years ago?
3 years ago.
Oh, man.
But he was the primary suspect in the disappearance or the murder of his grandfather. So his grandfather was shot.
Oh, my God.
Shot 3 times, two times in the head and like once in the chest.
And then, so the grandpa left the money to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. So, yeah, man. So this isn't looking good. This isn't looking good for old Nathan.
No.
It's looking suspect.
It's looking suspect. He was on the boat on the way back. They are the police swarmed his house. His dad was in California and flying back. They swarmed his house looking for what they said was evidence of repair records for the boat, as well as you just went way down. Yeah. I like that. All I saw. So Mike sits directly across from me, and we have 2 monitors, and he just sunk below the monitor, so I could just see his eyes, and he was like, "Yeah,
man,
yeah."
Getting into the story.
I'm getting into the story.
So the police raid the kid's house looking for repairs for the boat.
Yep.
They find anything?
But then they were also looking for proof of the fishing, like the plans for the fishing trip, where they were going, potential longitude, latitude.
Yeah, did they buy bait?
Right. Yeah. Things of that nature.
This makes me think of, you ever see that TV show Dexter?
Yeah.
Where you used to go out fishing and dump the bodies.
What was it? The Spice of Life or something was the name of his boat?
Slice of Life.
Slice of Life, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so you never want to go anywhere with Dexter on his boat.
No,
it's not going to end up good for you. But yeah, so that's I kind of felt like same thing in this scenario, because it did seem like they went out and.
I mean, what are the chances of like your grandfather being murdered and then your mom like disappearing on it? I mean, it's a tragic life, right? I mean,
very tragic.
Very tragic.
Yeah.
And I know tragedy hits people. I mean, maybe someone listening to this podcast has lost, multiple family members in horrific situations. I mean, I'm sure it happens. But
were you the last person to see each person before they disappeared?
Yeah.
And did they have maybe a couple $1 million that got bequeathed to you in a trickle-down fashion?
Yeah, and if that happens like twice, like you're just no one's ever alone with that person again, right? I mean, you're always with someone else. Like
exactly.
If I'm the last, like, that's Mike, man. Like, he was the last person to see this guy who died, and the last person to see this guy died. It's like you're never going to be around me alone because you don't want to be like the next person.
Yeah, and so they did say something really interesting, which was the warrant to search his house said they were looking for items that would support the charge of operation as to endanger or result in death. In other words, he's got like a provisions to be out on the water for quite some time.
Yeah,
and he had this special, like this boat that he could get off on, get off and be rescued. I know everything has safety equipment, but he had enough provisions to be on the water for 8 days.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That seems
well. And what's strange is that
for a day fishing trip,
like you were saying, a 30-foot boat, it starts sinking. Even though it's going down fast, it seems like if there's just 2 people on board, it'd be easy to get that other person, a life vest. Get them in the water, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. Plus, if it's your mom, like, you're going to make sure she gets on the raft first, probably, right? I mean,
yeah. And the fact that you've seen these fishing boats, there's like a little. The picture of the boat shows like an all aluminum boat with like a protected driving quarters.
Yeah.
With like 2 seats in it.
Dude, I've seen Jaws. That boat lasted and floated for a long time.
It just seems like
eaten by a shark.
The only thing that kind of goes along with the story though is that he has Asperger's. So people who get in a panic situation start doing what they were told or freaking out.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, if I was out on the ocean and the boat was going on, I'd be freaking out too, man. I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think I would drown my mom and by accident and then get on the boat,
push her under, and then use her.
I don't know what I'm doing. So basically, he's saying, "Hey, man, we went out fishing. The boat sank. I got on this life raft. I called up for my mom. She didn't respond. The boat went down, and I've been drifting for 8 days.
Yep.
And I'm lucky to be alive.
And he said, he had a conference as he walked out, and after he interviewed with them, and said, it's been very traumatic for me. I really hope you guys will respect us and our family and give me time to grieve.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the thing, too, is like, okay, this is all alleged, but say this guy did off his mom, sunk the boat, and then was just floating on this raft. That's also a big roll of the dice, hoping that some tanker is going to drive by and rescue you, right?
Yeah.
Unless he'd studied, like, the tanker routes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because he could still be floating out there.
Yeah, he could be, but it's something about this provisions situation sounds like there was a little bit of focus on that in every article, that there was a lot of food, a lot of water, and he was in good condition.
Well, he was probably in good condition because he had a lot of food and a lot of water.
Yeah, well, he didn't have to share it with his mom.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like he packed food for 2 for maybe like 4 or 5 days, and his mom didn't make it on the boat. So he had food for 10 days. I mean, is this guy a murderer or is he just a good disaster planner? You know what I mean?
He could be. It's hard to say. So in 2011, he went missing, and he had apparently gone on a 30-mile ride. But they found just
a ride.
Just a ride.
Yeah.
And then they ended up finding him somewhere in like Virginia camping.
Huh.
Yeah.
2011. They had cell phones back then, right, Doug?
They did. They did. So this guy's odd.
Yeah.
And so it's this. Just so to give you an idea of the timeline of this, he came off of the freighter this morning.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this is breaking.
This is breaking news.
Yeah. So, and they picked him up yesterday afternoon or evening.
Now you can just you can just go out on a raft and get picked up by a freighter and they'll just drop you off wherever. I mean that's how that works, really.
Unless you're in like South Africa.
Yeah.
Because then they'll assume you're a pirate.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Don't let him board.
He's in a raft.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not good. So yeah, so that's our first
developing story.
So we'll kind of follow that one, see where it goes. But it definitely there's a lot of coincidences in the disappearance of his family.
I have a lot of question marks on this piece of paper I wrote.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions. Could just be another tragedy. Could be just a tragic situation. The guy's lucky to be alive. We'll find out. But it definitely, like I said, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have about 25 question marks on this piece of paper.
Right. So let's talk about furries.
Furries?
Yeah.
Furries?
You know what furries are?
Yes, I do.
All right. So furries are people who like to dress up as animals in big costumes and commune with each other.
It's sort of like cosplay.
Yeah.
But what I understand as far as members of the furry community, that there's kind of an assumption that it's sexual in nature.
Yeah.
And what I understand is that that's not necessarily true. Like it may have started that way, or maybe they got a bad rap, or there's a segment of the furry community that is sexual, and so now every furry is kind of cast with a sexual kind of overtone. But my understanding is that that's not necessarily a part of it. And if that's the case, why are people so into it?
Well, exactly.
Right?
Well, so what furries kind of came out of the comic fandom world.
The cosplay.
Yeah. So these are people who like sci-fi. They like comic books, and then they identify with animals or creatures and try and create them and then dress up. Which
I think is kind of cool. Like I have nothing against like fantasy and being creative, and like if a chick thinks she's a wolf,
right?
And she wants to dress up like a wolf, like that's cool. Like right on, man. Like like on the weekends you like to dress up like a wolf. Like that's something that you do. That's cool. You're passionate about that. Like I don't think it's like it's kind of goofy. But I think there's a lot worse things that you can be into. It's no goofier than being like a Civil War reenactor or like one of those like
right.
Renaissance people. Like it's just a different kind of thing.
So I went to see Dandy Warhols like a while ago, and there were a ton of furries in the audience. And I was like, very curious why so many furries like the Dandy Warhols.
Well, that's interesting because I would think that if you're a furry, you would maintain your furriness like to like private parties, conventions. Like I wouldn't think that you're necessarily just going to go out to a concert at the Barefield in full furry gear.
And they were all in full furry gear, but and they had like lights and things on it. It was very ornate.
Yeah.
So I met Courtney after the show. He's the lead singer of the Dandy Warhols, and I mentioned it to him, and he said a while back there was a concert, and I guess there was one furry there.
Yeah.
And so he dragged the furry up on stage and had him dance on the stage, and then I think the other furries that furry posted it, and then all the other furries were like, "There's one who supports us."
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, are they anti-furry people? I mean.
No, I just think that they really
they felt included.
Yeah, they felt like normally they're probably very outcast to bands, and
well, it seems like for the average person that's not into it, like it just from the outside perspective, it just seems like a lot of effort. Like if you're going to a concert that's going to be hot and sweaty, why would you want to wear like 57 pounds of fur on you? You know what I mean? Like it just seems like a lot of effort for something that a lot of people don't really understand or are into.
Right. Well, and then the other things is if you're a furry, there's apparently a furry handler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think okay, sure.
It says like here's some guidelines of like a furry handler.
Break it down.
It says, do not leave me ever. You are my temporary owner. I don't like leashes, but I may wander off, so you better follow me. And these are like guidelines that most furries go by.
Do you think furries, like the people who are into this, like didn't have pets as kids, and so like this is like a way to kind of like be a pet and be someone's pet? I mean,
perhaps, yeah.
There's got to be some like psychological stuff going on, right? It can't just be like, oh, I like to dress up like a wolf. There has to be like other, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure it out here.
I went to the Folsom Street Fair this weekend, and this is in San Francisco. It's like a huge, it's like probably 20 blocks long. And it's like a huge, mostly spectators, but there are a lot of what they call leather participants there.
It's pretty macho.
It's very alternative.
Yeah, it's very alternative and very macho. And I always think of the when you think of people who are anti-homosexual and kind of like the stereotype of like a homosexual being kind of effeminate, like that kind of stereotype. I always want to drop those people off at the Folsom Street Fair, and you're like, dude, like
take on that dude.
It's like man, it's like macho, it's like masculinity to like the nth degree. Like it's almost awe-inspiring. You're like, dude, like I didn't know men could be so manly. Like it's just like man.
Yeah,
there
are a lot of
it's all about man,
and there's not many small dudes there. They're like all like
huge,
completely ripped, 300 pounds, and look like former linebackers. Yeah. Probably were a linebacker.
Probably were, yeah. And they I mean, I've been to the Folsom Street Fair. I've seen some pretty crazy things, and more power to them, man.
But I did see there were furries there. There were also people being dragged around by furries being dragged around by collars.
Yeah.
So this is like. They would say things that obviously would go along with this is if I start to sway a lot, or need to sit down, please run and get my water bottle. I tend to forget because I'm having too much fun. In other words, they get hot and don't realize that they're not drinking.
Yeah,
and then they pass out.
Yeah.
So
take care of your furries.
Yeah, you got to take care of your furries. So there are a lot of these rules. Like I love kids. Kids tend to come up to me, and I cannot hold them. So if a parent insists, please politely refuse.
I mean,
I will not take a picture holding a child.
Yeah, it's interesting that like people think this is weird, right? Like, and maybe they don't, but there's definitely this is definitely I would say like not an underground scene, but like something that's not your. It's not mainstream. It's not really. I mean, it is mainstream, but it's not something that everyone participates in or everyone's seen. But at the same time, people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to go to Disneyland,
Right.
and basically hang out with Mickey and Minnie Mouse, which are basically furries,
right?
You know, or Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater, like
Right.
you know, it's like these people dressed in costumes are all over the place.
Yeah, well,
whether we realize it or not.
I actually think that there's probably a lot to that. Is like amusement parks and having these people dressed up in costumes.
Yeah.
Probably these people who admire and wanted to become furries probably really wanted to be in this arena and like wanted to be like the Mickey or the Goofy.
Mascot.
Yeah, wanted to be
Like, look at, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, furries are everywhere. The San
Yeah.
Francisco Giants, like
Right.
their mascot, Louis the Seal, he's a furry. Whether he realizes it or not, he is. He's part of this community.
And what was the crab octopus weird thing that they came up with?
Oh, yeah.
That hybrid one. Yeah, so there are a bunch of rules in the furry community, and there's this girl. Her name is Katie Goodwill Yost. And Katie, she unfortunately, her mom was murdered.
Jeez. Wait a second. All this furry talk was just a setup for the story?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
So in Fullerton, California, they found 3 deceased adults and identified as Christopher Yost, his wife, Jennifer Yost, and one of their friends, Arthur Butcher. And then the 2 other children that were found on the scene were unharmed. They put an alert out for the 3rd child, Katie, and she was later found in good health.
This just happened?
Correct. 3 people were arrested in conjunction with this, and they're not confirming that Katie is a suspect in this, but there's a law that says if somebody's under 18, the police cannot give out any information about them regardless.
Yeah.
So this is all information that they've gotten from social media.
Got it.
She has the other 2 people who were arrested were this guy Josh Acosta and Frank Felix. Felix and Katie were romantically involved.
Got it.
So this is why they are leaning heavily towards, or the heavy is leaning heavy towards her being
Possibly involved.
Possibly involved.
Okay.
So Frank Felix was riding his buddy Cody, and they said an anonymous source sent a screenshot of Cody's conversation with Frank. And this was 3 days before the murder. And Frank said, I might be assisting someone in a murder. And he goes, are you or are you assisting someone in a murder? And he goes, you've been fucking up ever since I moved away. Like basically saying, dude, what are you doing? You're getting into some weird ass shit.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, can we just stop right there for a second, Doug?
Uh-huh.
I know it's the future and no one talks anymore and no one even knows that you actually what a telephone call is. But, you know, you just text back and forth, social media, whatever. If you have a friend and they text you like, yeah, man, I think I'm going to go kill somebody. Like, you don't just text back like, dude, what are you, man? You're really messing up. You call them.
Yeah.
You pick up the phone and go, dude, what are you talking about? What are you thinking? Like you actually have a conversation and you try to talk them out of throwing their life away. Like you just don't text like an emoji, like thumbs up, like sounds cool, bro.
I was about to say I could picture the like scary ghosty emoji. Yeah. You just send them that one
with a butcher knife, like have fun.
Yeah.
Don't wear white. You know, I mean, like, come on.
So Cody writes him back. You're making your own decisions. If you want to help someone with a murder, you're going to suffer some serious consequences, or you can stop that from happening altogether and get rewarded. You have the choice. And then he said something about, he got framed for something he didn't do. I don't know what Cody did, but it sounds like these are all a little bit,
Now,
off.
are these guys over 18? These guys are adults here? Katie's
Frank,
a minor, but
yeah, she is. But Frank is 25 and John is 21.
Man, you're 21 and 25 years old. Like what?
And
pick up the phone and talk to each other, man. Have a bro talk.
Right. So he apparently tried to talk him out of this.
He tried to text him out of it.
Yeah, Facebook message.
Yeah,
dude.
totally.
It's a little bit different than texting. But all right. And then another source said, personally, I've met Caitlin in the past, or Katie. Heard her speak of her mother, and I am not in the least surprised nor believe that she is not innocent in this tragedy. As far as hearing her speak about her mother, it was never positive. It always seemed resentful and disrespectful. Also, she was definitely a mentally unstable teen.
Did her mom do stuff to her? Like, did her mom drop battery acid on her? Or, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you hear these stories, right? And you're like, oh my god, this kid killed the parent.
Right.
But then you find out this history where they had enough and they basically stood up for themselves and defended themselves or ended the torture, right? I mean, is there any that kind of situation going on here? I'm looking for a bright light here, Doug.
Well, first of all, I always give you a bright light. And then secondly, we always do breaking stories.
Yeah, not a lot of info.
None of that has come out yet, but all of her posts are very despondent. It does seem like she was bullied in school. Mm-hmm. This is not something that was, I would say,
sudden.
She was having a tough time.
Yeah.
But apparently she had recently turned things around and was pretty happy. So
PPAP.
You know, I think PPAP, if she had listened to PPAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just realize you don't got to take anything that serious anymore.
Not at all.
Doug, does this tie back to the furries at all?
So they were all in a furry group together. And they would all often go out to
the Dandy Warhols. And hang out
to
with
the
Doug.
Dandy Warhols. They were going to go to a furbarbecue.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah. So they were on their way to a furbarbecue. So they had plans past this to go, hang out and
before killing their parents.
Before her boyfriend killed
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So Acosta was described on Facebook as we would talk about military experiences. The guy seemed really mellow and chill, but you never know who you're talking to. He didn't seem like somebody who would murder anyone.
I wonder if it was his furry identity, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
He takes on a different persona.
Ooh, dude, could you imagine if they came in the house in furry costumes?
Yeah, it'd be creepy, man.
Yeah, and she was very into art. She drew a lot of Jap animation type characters. She was actively, as I told you, looking for the handler. And her Twitter handle was Daydreamer Fox. So you can kind of go look under that.
And dressed up as a fox?
She did. She had a fox costume. She got a lot of comments on when she would post about her fox or her fox costume.
What kind of comments would she get?
Dirty
ones?
Yeah, with a face like that, I would wear a costume too.
Oh man, I thought you meant dirty,
no.
horny dudes. They would just make fun of her.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So she got cyberbullied as well.
Jesus. I mean, Doug, you created the internet. You had some hand in it.
No, I think that was Gore.
Don't you think that you invented one of them? Don't you think that if you start getting cyberbullied, it just seems like you would just get off the internet, right? Or is it just one of those things where you just can't you just like the attention even if it's negative till it drives you crazy? I don't know. I mean, I think part of the internet and the fun of it, at least, I don't know, 80% of it is watching troll action, right? I mean, it's always kind of funny,
right.
But at the same time, I mean, it does have serious repercussions.
Oh, absolutely.
It affects people. You're not just, when you comment negatively towards someone and say, oh, your face is ugly, you should wear a fox mask. It's that's a real person. And chances are you would never say that to their face. And it has a real effect on people. I mean, it's,
do you you know the comedian Chris D'Elia?
No.
He's became notorious because he was Justin Bieber's favorite comedian.
Okay.
So whenever someone trolls him or cyberbullies him, he finds out, like literally finds out information on them, and then like comes personally after them.
Oh wow.
And will like write on their Twitter wall, "This is Chris. You wrote some really mean shit about me.
Yeah.
You're a dick."
Yeah. Wow, man.
And like Mark Maron, also a very famous podcaster, has his own TV show. He's notorious for literally trying, if there's a cyberbully in his area, he will try and find them in person.
Wow.
He's notorious for doing this.
Wow, that's pretty wacky, man. That takes a lot of effort. I mean,
it's a lot of effort.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't matter how, like, if you're relatively anonymous or you have 1 billion followers and the most successful podcast in the world, those comments still hurt whomever.
Yeah.
So,
are we getting hurtful comments? I don't want to see them.
No. I think right now we're in that anonymous category.
Yeah,
so
I ever since you told me about people saying that she had an ugly face, I feel bad for this girl now, man. I'm having a hard time, getting angry about the fact that she may have murdered her family.
Well, so these were the bullies. They called Caitlin ugly and worthless. She often said that bullies would approach her in the bathrooms at her school and scream at her. They would often push her into the mirror, shoving her face in the mirror, telling her, like, look how ugly you are.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she had a rather tough time.
I mean, I'm thinking even if she is ugly, right? I mean, the fact that she likes to dress up like a fox, there could be some kind of kinky stuff going on there. You think like at least one dude in her school would like pick up on that and just be like, hey. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah. But she did say, like recently she felt like things had turned around for her. She said she posted something that said, when did I become so decent looking? And she posted a bunch of pictures of her looking relatively attractive online.
Really? And are you looking at those pictures, Doug?
I am.
Did she shave? What did she do? What did she do so differently?
I don't know. Just she was donning another fur hoodie. But
I haven't seen pictures of this girl, so I have an image in my head.
Right. Well, and basically she's a rather normal-looking blonde girl.
Yeah.
Like not horrifically unattractive or anything of that nature. People said that she was a little bit odd and had mental stability issues. So that, when people have like an odd disposition, it's so brutal in high school because it's hard to get your footing. But she did post a lot about drinking, a lot. She would say like, super fun here, booze, bonfires, fireworks, singing, cuddles with my friends in fursuits and lots of fluffies.
So she had like some type of social life.
She definitely had a social life.
Yeah, like it wasn't maybe the one that was the one that's like you saying like at high school, but she had her community. She found her people.
And these older guys that she was hanging with, obviously, if you had daughter that was 17 hanging out with somebody who's like 25
that likes to dress up like a dog.
Furry,
yeah.
You'd probably have some problems. So she posted online often about her parents not approving.
Understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Dan's 45 and lives in a basement of his parents' house, but he's my top dog. They don't get it.
She said at one point, one of her friends said that she came to the school telling everyone she was pregnant by an older guy.
Ooh.
I don't know if she was pregnant at the time, but
maybe her fox self was. Like she wasn't really pregnant, but her furry self was pregnant. She, you know what I'm talking about? Like, in her fantasy world.
But she had a stepfather, and apparently she was close to her stepfather. They were like he posted photos of the whole family often, so they didn't.
Did they make her wear her fur mask during the family photo?
No, she didn't.
Like, would that be cool, or would that be being a dick if you're a parent? Like, go put your costume on. Is that cool, or is that like you're embracing their thing, or is that like we don't want to see you in this photo? Where does that fall?
I don't know.
A little bit of both.
I don't know if they were so supportive of her choices in that arena.
They had to be somewhat. I mean, those costumes aren't cheap.
Right.
You know, either she made it herself or they
Yeah.
lent her money for it.
Yeah, it was very ornate, so
Yeah.
it didn't look like something.
I got kids. I mean, if my kids are like, hey, I want a Acosta, I want to wear a Acosta, I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Go mow the lawn. Save up some money.
But her mom, she and her mom obviously had a contentious relationship, but her mom doesn't sound like she was all that normal.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So she owned a place called Vixie's Creations where she sold voodoo dolls for a living.
Jesus Christ. You got to lead with that, dude.
Yeah. So, well, I felt like that's like a.
Where are these? Wait,
dude. You know that's like the icing.
It changes everything, dude. Like, where are these guys from?
She just they're from Fullerton, California.
This is in Fullerton, California.
Yeah.
This lady. See, this is the thing that's going to bum people out that listen to this podcast. Like, there's probably people that listen to this that are like barely making it by. Right. You know what I mean, they're working like 4 jobs, and then they come out and find out this lady made a living, like raised kids, had successful relationships, was able to like thrive in Southern California selling voodoo dolls.
And obviously her daughter was trying to follow in the same suit, so she would go to these things like Cali Fur and these fur places, and she would try and sell her art at those.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, so that's where it is right now. You know.
I mean, like I said, I mean, I think that there's nothing wrong with voodoo and selling voodoo dolls. I mean, you know, but it definitely it shows that family was into like kind of things that were a little bit beyond the norm.
Right.
You know, they were open-minded when it came to things. You know, like hey, my kid's a fox. I sell voodoo dolls. There's a lot going on there.
And then the next direction that I want to go. This last story is just it's just more of why you should never ever rob someone in Arkansas.
In Arkansas,
Never.
I've been to Arkansas, man.
Yeah.
You ever been to Arkansas?
I don't think I've ever been to Arkansas.
I've been to Arkansas. It's really, really pretty country, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like my one of my best friend's uncles was a truck driver for Walmart.
Uh-huh.
And so you know when you graduate high school, like everyone goes, hey, we're going to Cancun senior trip. Well, me and my buddy's like, dude, you want to go to Arkansas and see my uncle? And we were like, I was like, yeah. Like, when am I ever going to go to Arkansas?
Sure.
So we went there, and it was awesome. I mean, it's really, really pretty country. Like we went, night fishing and water skiing and jumped off cliffs. There's lakes everywhere. Really humid, but really like there's not a lot of people in Arkansas. Like it's a lot of space.
Have you seen the video where the guy wakeboards in like the aquifer that goes along right beside his farm?
No.
And he's getting pulled by a horse.
That's awesome.
That's kind of what I expect. You know, when you say like we went water skiing, that's kind of what I expect.
Well, this is I mean it was so rural. I remember we were driving down a country road, and all of a sudden like we're driving down this road and we see a truck, and this guy's like hailing us down.
Uh-huh.
And we pull over, and there's this lady on the ground, like hysterically crying, and she has her child kind of holding the kid's head, and this kid's head was like cracked, basically.
Oh, no.
Like if you picture like a watermelon,
right, and
drop it like a big gash, and his head was like swelling, and the guy was hysterical, and me and my buddy, we're like 17, 18 years old.
Right.
We're like, what the hell's going on? And the guy's like, oh, my kid was in the back of the truck. And
were you late to a barbecue?
No.
Okay.
And he basically, like, they kind of turned this corner, and he fell out. So, whatever. This kid,
wow.
He might have been like 6 years old, fell out of the back of this truck, hit the road, cracks his head open. And, I mean, dude, we're in the middle of nowhere. And the guy's like, he's like, we need to get help. And I'm like, well, we're like, what's around here? And he's like, there's a church, like, way over there. And I look over, dude. And there's like I could see as far as my eye could see like a little building.
Right.
And I go to I go, that's the church?
Uh-huh.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, he goes, they might have a phone. Like, they might have a phone.
Wow.
Dude, I ran. This is probably the fastest I've ever run as long as I've ever run.
Oh, so you had to go through a field because you couldn't go.
No. So my buddy stays with the car.
Uh-huh.
And then, and
why not put him in the car and like take him?
Dude, it was crazy. I mean, there was blood. It was gnarly. I think they were afraid to move him.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think his brain might have fell out of his head. Like, I mean, the kid wasn't like the kid
because their car was working, so they were like,
yeah, the kid wasn't even like screaming. He was just like laying there, and the mom was freaking out. So I'm just like, oh my! So they need an ambulance,
right?
And so I sprint across this field, dude. I mean, like it was like the never-ending field,
right?
And I run. I'm just, whoa, and I go and I get to this like. It's like this church, but it's kind of like a farm / church / house. And
grocery store.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But it was really weird. Like, so I kind of like walked through the front doors, and there's like maybe like 6 pews on each side, real small altar. And I'm like, help. Was anyone here? I need help. You know, and it was like something out of a horror movie. Like,
right.
like I sat there and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre
right.
style. And sure enough, man, like this dude, like he comes out, he's like, what's going on? What are you doing here? And I go, there's a kid, you know, like down here. We need to call an ambulance. It's the road. And he's like, okay. So, you know, he calls like, you know, some phone number.
Right.
But it was like rotary phone.
Right.
It's like in the 90s, dude. Like, it's like, you know, you know, and he's like, okay, I'll get help, you know. And so, you know, so I run back, and, you know, the kid it was a total freak scene. But my point is, like, it took like 40 minutes, maybe an hour to get like
an ambulance.
An ambulance there in Arkansas. I mean, it's just space beyond space beyond space.
Right.
There's so much space. It's like there might be a phone in that building.
Wow.
I mean, it's rural.
Wow.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. So we're talking about Arkansas.
Yeah.
So this guy Aaron Brock and his best friend Beau Dewitt were like super into cars in Arkansas. They like to repair them. And they needed to get parts for a car that were at a junkyard. They went to the junkyard and didn't have enough money when they got to the junkyard. So they needed a window and like 2 shock absorbers. Their girlfriends dropped them off at the junkyard later to pick up those parts.
Yeah.
But then
you would have a windshield in your car if you're taking me on a date, boy. So
their 2 girlfriends drop them off and leave them at the junkyard, not wait, just like drive off.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is a reasonable thing for a woman to do. Like, you're going to get the parts to fix this car and get that car running. Otherwise, you're going to stay in this junkyard the rest of your life. That's Arkansas logic right there, man.
So they they say that they were going to steal the parts. So I think they were going in to get something probably of more value as well. From there.
Catalytic converter, maybe some headers. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So they were going clear. It seems like they were going to rob this place
without a getaway car.
Without a getaway car. And this other guy, Tyler Barefield, I guess came up on them. The girlfriends didn't find. Came back, looked for them, couldn't find them, sent the police out. The police, it was obviously locked up. They got into the location. That guy Tyler was there. The truck there was a truck inside the junkyard, and that might have been theirs.
Tyler or Aaron and Beau's.
Yeah. So
I like that the guy's name's Beau.
Yeah. Awesome. So the truck was crushed and put on top of a pile.
Yeah.
And had some blood leaking out of it.
Oh, man.
And then they found the 2 bodies of Tyler and Beau crushed in that car.
Now, the question is this. Did the guy kill him, put the bodies in the car, and then crush it, or did he crush
you know, that
in
was
the car?
Exactly what I had to find out.
Yeah.
And so they were shot before the
Okay.
car was crushed. They were sitting in the driver and passenger seat. So my guess is they had loaded all the stuff up in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Were probably trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's not a lot on this yet because, again, this is also breaking as well. But another person named Barefield is the owner of that property.
Yeah.
There's not a discerned connection between the two.
Yeah.
But they have video of Tyler just before this carrying an AR-15 rifle towards that property. So,
and Tyler works at the junkyard. That's like his property, right?
He's not listed as an owner on the property.
Okay.
But the actual owner of the property is also Barefield.
Okay. Got it.
So it's probably his junkyard or a family junkyard.
Or he like lives there or something in an old van or something. It is my junkyard. My headers.
Their family say they have no idea why he was killed. Their mom says that the Brock and Dewitt were going there to actually buy things, except for the time that they were going, it was closed.
Yeah.
Which seems a little suspicious.
It does seem like shooting somebody and crushing them is a little extreme for stealing some car parts. I mean, but then again, I mean, some parts in Arkansas, I mean, it's the thing is, law and justice differs sometimes when you get out in the woods, man. You know what I mean? This could just be the way it is in whatever Arkansas county they're in.
And that's basically the way I see this is either these kids had run-ins with the law before.
Yeah.
So maybe this guy knew exactly what they were up to and said, you guys can't afford this shit. If you try and come back here, maybe he caught them on the property before.
Yeah, you come and try to steal these rims, it's going to be the end of you, boy.
Exactly.
And Beau and Aaron were like, whatever, man. We need to get those rims.
We got to get the shock absorbers.
Yeah, man.
And a window.
Yeah, we got to get that new Holly carburetor, man. We're going to get it. And then Tyler was like, yeah, sorry, man. I tried to warn you. And I mean, I think in some communities like that, you steal. It's like, places in the world that cut your hands off.
Yeah.
Maybe in Arkansas, they crush you.
I don't think they're going to make you sit in a room and listen to PPAP over and over.
No, they're not.
But yeah. So that's kind of.
So are you saying that's like justified? I mean, I still don't think that's justified there, Doug. I mean,
no,
I don't think you
not,
kill people just because they're stealing car parts.
No, you call the sheriff and say these guys were trying to steal shit on my property.
Yeah,
and obviously
I can see shooting out their car tires till the cops get there or something, or holding them maybe under gunpoint, like, hey, you guys sit there, don't move.
Yeah, but if you're holding them under gunpoint and then they approach you,
and then they keep going, then you're forced to make a decision.
Anytime there's like. Just like they say, whenever you pull out a gun.
What kind of junkyard doesn't have a junkyard dog? Can you
exactly.
Let the dog sick them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just leave the dogs out.
Like I have a mean dog.
Really mean
the dog
dog.
Rip them apart.
Yeah. So, I think these guys, something went down. This guy did shoot them and then was like, oh, fuck.
I bet there was flocka involved, dude.
This is actually one of the first times that I would say there were no drugs involved with, except for we don't know about the furry thing. But I don't think there was any flocka.
That's crazy. I do know in Arkansas. In Arkansas, they have massive like weed fields of marijuana.
Oh yeah,
wild weed fields. Like just like I'm talking acres and acres and acres and acres of weed just growing in Arkansas.
Is that what you guys found when you were running through that field? You're like, oh, I'm going to stop here for a second.
Maybe.
I'm going to take care of this guy. I'm going to call the ambulance, and then I'm going to stop on the way back. And then you're like, dude, don't trip. Cool.
It's medicinal, bro.
Dude, you're going to be totally fine.
It'll heal the kid.
Here, have a little of this.
Yeah, it'll heal the kid, man.
I'll just put some of this salve on his wound.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, so those are vomiting rainbows stories of the week.
That's right. Number 8. Podcast number 8.
Number 8. So if you enjoyed our stories and our ramblings on, please follow us. We Vomit Rainbows on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then we're on vomitingrainbows.com. And please comment, subscribe, and like our stuff because that helps us get higher in the iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play world.
And our goal is to be number 1, right, Doug?
Yeah, well, we're going to be number 1, at least in a category.
Exactly.